Hey, folks, it's Dave just hanging out here on a Wednesday night. Just figured I'd open up things and say hi to some people I haven't talked to in quite some time. Uh, it's Stanley Cup night. I don't know who I want to win. It's Colorado, Tampa Bay, and though I am sick of Tampa Bay like everyone else in the hockey world, I don't really know much about this Colorado team. Again, I see behind me, I got the Rockies banner. I'm a Rockies guy, So the Colorado Avalanche, yeah, the Ray Bork tie in the whole bit. That was neat in 2001, but really since then, I'm really not big into um, the Colorado Avalanche. So they played tonight. I'm not sure who I want to win that game, uh, but I just wanted to be a good series. I'd like to see it go 6 or 7 games. I really would. As retro replays, MN shows up. Thanks for coming by. Well, one thing that I did get here that's kind of neat. I was inducted to a Hall of Fame. Yeah, the Paiha Hall of Fame. I was inducted in. It's kind of they had their ceremony a couple weeks ago, and they were because of COVID and stuff. They didn't have the award ceremony, so I was inducted into the 2020 version, and that's because of all my broadcasting with the Ratcast that I did. I traveled all around the country for many years doing the roller hockey, and they finally, got caught up in their stuff, and they said, "Hey, we're going to put Dave into the Hall of Fame." So I was like, "Oh, okay, I'll take that. That's kind of pretty cool." I even did a video too. I did a video thanking them in the whole bit, and I guess they had a nice big ceremony. I was supposed to go. It was down by Philadelphia, but I couldn't get there. The wife was really sick. Actually, the wife was in the hospital, and I was like, "I'm really not going to drive to Philadelphia with you in the hospital," so I couldn't go. But yeah, thanks, Stoke. Yeah, it's good to be inducted into the Hall of Fame there. I wish I could have gone. I hopefully you'll be doing some more roller hockey broadcasts. And I really did like that back in the day. Hi, Bernard. Good to see you here. Bears Den stopping by. and 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 which cap will I wear on my Hall of Fame plaque? That's a good question. Uh, will it be a Bruins or a Golden Seals? I'm not really sure. Probably a Bruins hat. I would think. But Nate Scott stopping by on Facebook to say, yeah, I'm on Facebook tonight as well too. Just stopping in to say hi before the hockey game. I'm probably gonna, something I've been doing with the hockey is, you guys know that I love my older hockey. Like I love the Bobby Orr era, the '70s, and then you got your Cam Neely, Ray Borks in the late '80s, early '90s. I really like that. That's my go-to hockey stuff there. I don't watch much of the modern stuff, but I got to tell you, this year's playoffs have been fantastic. The first round, all those game sevens, and then the second round was good. That crazy Edmonton Calgary series where a 4-goal lead wasn't safe. That was great. I enjoyed that. But what I've been doing is I've been listening to the games. I haven't watched them. The game sevens I watch, but the other games I listen to. So if I'm at the rink, like Monday nights, I work at the rink as a scorekeeper. I put on my headbuds and I listen to the game. And then if I'm here, I'm usually doing something here on the table. Either I'm working or maybe I'm playing my own hockey game, and I'm listening on the app, on the iPad app or the iPhone app. I don't really watch much of it. I'm enjoying listening to these games here. In fact, I haven't watched any of the Stanley Cup games, but I've listened to them all. So tonight I'll probably listen as I play too. I wonder if you guys like that. Can you listen to a game? I know baseball is a good game to listen to, but okay, can you guys listen to a game or do you have to watch it? What I like about listening is I can be doing other things. So I can be listening to the broadcast, but it's not taking my visual away. So I can be doing something else. I can be, like I said, working on the computer or playing a game here or doing some filing or whatever I'm doing, walking the dog or anything at all. I can be doing that. And I don't have to worry about what I'm watching. I don't have to, I can be listening to the game. So I like to do that as well. And yeah, thank you so much. Yeah, this was very unexpected. This little plaque here, Hall of Fame inductee. Um, they called me up and says, "Hey, can you make it down?" I says, "No, wife's in the hospital. I can't make it down." But send us a video, and you're going in. Actually, they sent me a nice hockey shirt, and it had the name of the league on there. And at the bottom, across the bottom, like where you see the stripes, it says Hall of Fame. And I was like, that was kind of cool. And it was number 20 because that's the year I get in. So I have a little hockey, not a little, a big hockey jersey to go with that. Oh, I got my around the layout. podcast shirt. My buddy Ray down in Connecticut is doing a model railroading podcast. So if you're into model railroading, go check out Around the Layout podcast. My shirt came in today. I did some modeling for him. I took some pictures with the shirt on and I sent it to him, thinking he might use it for his website. And I'm not sure if he likes them or not, but I sent him some really nice photos. They were Instagram worthy for sure. And but he hasn't get back to me on those yet, so we'll see. And Fainer, I'm still working. It's an early. Yeah, I just jumped on tonight here. Steeler fan coming by. I was like, do I do some Spiders baseball? Do I just do some hockey? Just come on and say hi and chat here. I was in a chatty mood, and I'm jumping on Facebook too to say hi to some people on Facebook I haven't seen in a while. So, Flynn. So Flynn, you see this? Yeah, Anthony Flynn's the guy that helped me get this here. He was big with all the Ratcast stuff and all that stuff there. So I want to say thanks to Flynn for everything he's done. Retro replays. What do you got here? I missed this one here. The junior hockey highlights with me announcing a great. Thank you. I was on ESPN3. I was on ESPN3 back in 2010. I think it was 2010, fall of 2010. We actually took a train down because one of the guys wouldn't fly. So we took a train down from Boston to Orlando, and it was a 24-hour train ride, I think it was, and it was weird because I couldn't sleep. It was like the train was moving. I couldn't sleep on the train. Couldn't sleep. If you ever taken an overnight train, let me know how you did. I couldn't sleep. I couldn't sleep at all on the train. And so I usually go to bed with a radio on or something. So I had like music on and anything that could help you sleep. I couldn't do it. Soon as I got used to the rocking motion, like about 2 a.m, and I started to fall asleep, the train stopped. And that's when I think they bring in the new staff and they restock all the food and stuff. And so I was used to the rocking, and then it stopped, and now I'm awake again. And then by the time it's about an hour to do all that, I started to fall asleep and it started to move. As I couldn't sleep. I don't think I slept more than an hour on that whole train ride down there. So I was pretty beat when I got down to Orlando. It was fun though, sitting on the train having dinner. So we're sitting in our little booth, and they bring the food over, and you're just watching things go by. It was kind of like being in a movie, So I really did like that. That was fun. I always remember that dinner sitting on the train. But I did do ESPN3. I did that one time there, and we were live on ESPN3. Now, that was a fun time. I enjoyed the heck out of that. I almost didn't go because I got wicked travel anxiety, and I pulled out of the trip, and then they convinced me to go. So I ended up going and having a good time. Got my decaf coffee here. I actually made this is my Dunkin' thing from this morning. I just made a decaf coffee and I put it in the Dunkin' Donuts cup because I want, you have your cup of coffee and it's just one small cup. So I like a giant one here. So I can have that here. Matt said he took the California Zephyr from San Francisco to Chicago and then from Chicago to Boston. Had a sleeper car for the long. It was nice. Yeah, I've always wanted to take a train. Take care, Matt. Good to see you. I always wanted to take a train across the country and see the mountains and all the stuff that you see, how they have those tours there. But man, I don't think I'd be sleeping on the overnight. I'd have to take the train and get off and go to a hotel and sleep and then get back on the train because I don't think I could be sleeping because I didn't sleep in that one time. It just didn't work out at all. So anyway, midlife crisis. What do you say? He looked into a sleeper car trip with a wife as a vacation somewhere. The prices are outrageous. Yeah, this was like 10 years ago, 12 years ago that we did that. So prices were obviously much different. In fact, I think one of the guys, I think it was Flynn, the guy who I talked about with the Hall of Fame plaque. He actually put his car on the train. And so when we get down there, we had his car, so it was good. We didn't have to rent anything, So we just had to pay whatever the fee was to put the car on there. And that's actually an ingenious way to do it. It really is. So see what else is going on around here. Oh, so yeah, so I was talking to Ron today about ideas for the podcast. We got a show we're supposed to record tomorrow. Our next show is tomorrow, and then we're going to be recording with we have another author coming on. I don't want to say who it is just in case it falls through, but we have another author of a book coming on. Those guys are fun to interview. When we interview, I've interviewed a handful of authors of books, and they're really fun when you interview them. Like, how did you make the book? Why did you make the book? How long it take? And it's funny seeing how they do things very differently, and the resources that they use, and how long it takes, and the journey from start to finish with the book. And it's quite the adventure. It's really not. as easy as you think it is when you listen to these guys tell their tales, and especially when it comes to sports research. I imagine that this guy here is kind of a statistical book, and I'm imagining the amount of work that went into that. I really am. So, um, so that's about all that's going around here. Just want to come on and say hi real quick tonight before the hockey game. I got my hockey bones set up over in Studio A. I'm going to play some hockey bones tonight. I think I'm on game 11. I'm playing the 92-93 Boston Bruins. We're doing okay. I thought we've had 2 chokes. We've had 1 bad loss, and then we led Vancouver. I want to say we led 5-1, and we lost 6-5 to Vancouver. Pavel Bure and those guys destroyed us. And then we were leading Chicago 3-2 going into the third, and Roenick and Lammer and Goulet and Dirk Graham chewed us up. 5 goals on Lemon in the third. We got crushed like 7-4 or something like that. So I've had a couple of bad losses in my season already, but it's been very fun. And I can't decide which one I like better, Hockey Bones or Appa. And I should do a video on that, but I don't want to, hurt any feelings either, so to speak, because I know that there's rabid fans in both of those games, and they're both great in their own way. And that's the thing, is that what one does, the other one doesn't, and one does great, this one doesn't. And so they do different things, like a lot of different games. They really do different things. All right, and let me see. Fanner 27, any PC recommendations I get on Steam? Got a gift card for Father's Day. What are you looking to play? Steam has like a wide variety of games. I mean, not just sports. They got a little bit of everything. I'm trying to think. One of my most played games on Steam was one of the franchise hockey managers. I think it was 2 or 4. I think it was 2 or 3, 2 or 3, 2, 3 or 4. And that's still my most played game until I started playing. Was it Gems of War that unseated that? I think Gems of War unseated that. There's also a puzzle game. I don't know if you see me play that on the channel, where you get the puzzles and you do a puzzle right on the computer. That is really fun too. It is just so relaxing to kick back and do a puzzle, and you can right click to spin the pieces around and put them in place. I really like the puzzle game. That is really good. OOTP, yeah, if you like baseball, OOTP. If you don't have that one, that's a good one to get to. They have everything. They say they got I was doing power washing. They got a power washing game. I really enjoy it. I think it's on a PS4 too, but I have it on the Steam. Ron was doing a fishing game. If you like fishing games, they got fishing games. They have all kinds of racing games. So it really all depends on what you like. I like when I go to Steam. I like my favorite game was the point and click games. You ever seen those? Whereas you got a frame here, and it's like, okay, you need to find all these items. And so you click on the rope, and you click on the skeleton, and you try to find the number 7. Then you got to find a playing card. I love those games. So you collect all that stuff there, and then it opens up a clue to the game. And then you go, and then you got to figure out like how to get by the dog who's won't let you in the house, let's say. So you need to go back, and then with there's a shovel. So you pick up the shovel, and you dig in the ground, you dig up a bone, and then you give the bone to the dog, and now you can pass through the house if you follow that. So I love those games there where you got these little puzzles you got to solve, and a lot of them have a little help button. So if you get stuck, you click on it, and it, like something lights up on the screen, and it tells you like where to look. So I like those games. I was playing those for quite some time. I didn't stream any of them, but I was playing them. And those are fun. Those are fun because you got to think a little bit, but they're still relaxing enough. And sometimes you're just clicking around like a hidden object game, but there's a little story that goes along with it. And I enjoy those quite a bit there. So that's something to look at too. Are there any games on Steam you can play on an iPad? Budgeting to get a PC. Anyways, there's some games you can play on the iPad. I think you can get the Steam app on your iPad, and some things will play. I think they play better on the PC, but some things still play on there. Like I said, it all depends what you're looking for. Obviously, the newer games with the higher graphics are going to be tougher to run on the iPad. I tend to play the older games. Those point and click games, they don't really chew up any processing power, any graphics. They're just very low low processing power, low requirements, I should say, and they play very well on the iPad because it's just point and click, and you're not really doing a lot. It's not a lot of dexterity in that. It's just kind of touching things and picking out objects or whatever. So those play pretty well. I like the tower defense games too. Those are really fun. I think they do play on the iPad as well. Let's see. Turbo stops by here. I like your little icon over here with all the racing cars. That's kind of neat. I do like that. Steeler fan, you just managed to order a PS5 about an hour ago. We've been looking for about a month. I don't have one. I have a 4, and I know the old Game Hounds podcast that I used to do. I know Edie and Nick, they both have the PS5. I think they both got the new Xbox, whatever it's called, Xbox, stupid names. They had the original, then the 360, then the One, then it's the X, then it's the Y. I don't even know what it's called. It's stupid. Just how about 1, 2, 3, 4, 5? Makes sense, Whatever. So I don't have that, but if you've got one, cool. Yeah, they're supposed to be really nice. Although the graphics on the PS4 and the Xbox One, they were pretty fine. If on an HD TV, I don't know how you improve on that. I just don't. They were just unbelievable, those graphics. It's just too bad that I don't have this dexterity anymore with my hands to play those games. I just don't. I don't do a good job with them. I got frustrated because I found myself looking down at the buttons, and then I get tackled or I get checked, and then forget about playing online. I go online, I get destroyed to a point where I stopped going online because it wasn't worth it, and I got really frustrated. And then I started playing the computer, and that was frustrating too. So that's why I do the cards and dice. That's why I do the old man stuff, and I enjoy the heck out of that. I really do. And your wife designed that? Yeah. Oh, your ex-wife designed that? Yeah, that looks pretty good. I do like that. I really do. Let's see. Midlife, what do you got here? Just picked up Digital Diamond Baseball. Yeah, people have been talking about that one. Hang on one sec. People have been talking about that they just added the companion. Now, do you have to buy that separate? Do you have to buy that companion separate, or is that when you buy the game, it's already baked into that? Is what I'm getting at. Because I thought that'd be interesting myself, because I think that game will simulate games. So you could play a game, input the stats, and then simulate the ones you don't want to simulate, and it would keep ongoing records. There needs to be a hockey game to do that. So you started using it with your strat postseason. See, what I did is, where is it here? What I've been doing is I've been picking up seasons for strat, and I've been kind of playing the games I want to play, and then letting the computer sim out the rest of them. It just sucks. You got to buy the individual seasons, whereas Digital Diamond Digital Diamond Baseball, all the seasons are included pretty much, but they don't go back to the spiders though. I did check on it. They don't go back to the spiders. Not many games go back to 1899. So I really like the strat. In fact, I was talking to Ron the other day about a couple other baseball products, and we were kicking back and forth which baseball game I would go with, and I ended up going with the Strat PC Baseball. And I just like the Stratomatic PC Baseball game. I like the idea that you can roll your own dice, so you can watch it on the screen. It plays quick, it plays fast. There's a little bit of animation to keep you going here, and you can really customize your screen. And I know it's a little more expensive than some of the other games, but I just have fallen in love with that game, and that's the one I like to play. And I tried another game. I won't mention which one it was, and it was just okay. It just I don't know. I really favor the Stratomatic PC Baseball game for my baseball. And I like that they have all the seasons available to buy. It sucks you got to buy them individually. In Digital Diamond, you get a ton of them for the $25. But I watched some of the videos on that, and it's nothing you can really stream because it's just a static screen with scrolling text. It's almost much like the hockey game, the Strat PC hockey game. There's a little bit of movement with a puck, but for the most part, you're just reading the text. It's really, for yourself, it would be fine. But for me, I'm used to the strat. I'm used to how I can sim games and speed ahead and the whole bit. So I've been sticking with that. And I bought the 1980 season, and I've been playing the 1980 World Series. And I'm really glad I went with the Strat on that because I've had 2 great games. I love watching the dice and then figuring out what's going to happen and then watching the play happen and seeing the results of that and following along because I like to follow along. So for me, I've been very happy with the Stratomatic PC. Let's see here. Fenner, what do you got over here? Did I ever play leaderboard golf on the Commodore back in the 80s? Your dad had both discs. No. What I played on the Commodore, from what I can remember, was Ultima 3. Exodus, it was called. It was the Lord Britain. It was part of the Ultima series, and I played 3, and it took me 1 year, 1 whole year of playing. And the first playthrough, I played 3 months, and I died, and it's permadeath, and I had to start all over. And so the next time I played it, I ran into a battle and I almost died, and I went right into a next battle, and I knew I was going to die, so I shut off the Commodore so it wouldn't save. And that way there I was able to go back. And I did that several times because I was like, I am not starting this over. And I actually did finish the game. I did finish Ultima 3. It took me about a year. I think it was a million moves because every time you pushed on the keyboard was a move and stuff like that. And the calculator was like a million moves I made in that game. And that's the only game I remember playing on the Commodore 64. No, I lied. I played one of my very first hockey games was, I think it was called Ice Hockey by Mindscape. And you had the joystick, and you were playing 3-on-3 with a goalie, and you controlled one guy. You controlled the center, and you could pass to the other guy, and they could shoot, and they would pass to you, and you could shoot. And if you took a penalty, you sat in the box, and you watched the other 2 guys kill the penalty. It was fantastic. I was up so many nights, till 2 a.m. playing on that back in the day because that was what, 1988. I think I had that, and I don't even think I had a Nintendo at that point, and Sega Genesis wasn't out. So I was playing the Commodore 64. So I was playing hockey games in the Commodore 64. That's what I remember about that. So Ultima was like 86. And then in 88, I actually moved into a place in 88, and I took that with me, and I was playing the hockey games there. And that was really fun. So, but I never did play that golf game. I wasn't going to get another console till they announced that college football was coming back. Yeah, I enjoyed those. I did some consulting for that series 10 years ago. Your name is in the credits for NCAA Football 12. Fantastic. That's pretty awesome. I've done some work on video games myself. I wasn't in the credits at all, but I did some work for them. Turns out it was very little work. I don't want to say which one it was. It was a hockey game. And I tried to contribute, and everything I contributed was like wrong. So very few of my ideas and things went into the game. So I just said, I'm just kind of wasting everyone's time here. But I did work on a hockey game several years ago. And, well, I guess that was a video game. And for cards and dice, I guess Shootout EZ, the Shootout hockey game, the EZ mode. John sent me his ideas for the game, and we went back and forth for a couple of weeks. So I really had a big hand in Shootout EZ. He was just like, what do you think of this? And I would say, well, this, and then well, that, and then I wouldn't do this, and this is why I wouldn't do that. And if you're going to do this, then you need to do that. And, a lot of time was spent on the rare chart. So if you roll 100, you go to the rare chart. So I was like, we really need to spell this out. And he had a couple of different ways of doing the number system. And I says, I don't like that. It's kind of confusing. So how about we do this? And he took like 90% of my suggestions for Shootout Hockey Easy. And he gave me credit on it too in the instructions. So that was kind of cool. So that's in one of the more recent games that I've helped work on. And let me see here. And getting back to the college football, NCAA college football, I had that on the 360, Xbox 360. And I don't know which one I had. I looked to get the 14, I think was the last one they did. And that one's, they want ridiculous amounts of money for that one because that was the last college one. So I collect video games. You can see up top here. I got a whole bunch of video games up there. So I was looking for the 14, but they wanted stupid money for it. And it's like, But I had one, I think it might have been 11 or 12 that I played. And I thought it was great because there was tons of schools and tons of stadiums and tons of jerseys. And I like looking at all that stuff. And so I would play the running back, not the quarter. I play the running back because if you're the running back, you can run the ball, obviously. You can go out for a pass, or sometimes you have to block. and it was kind of cool. And I forget what team I was. Yeah. So you create your character. You do like a trial, and then you see who drafts you, and you have a list of teams that want to draft you. And it's like if you go to Notre Dame, you'll be like the backup, and if you go to Syracuse, you'll be the backup. But I think I went to North Carolina and I was a starting running back. So I was like, oh, I want to be the starter. So I went to North Carolina and I played the running back. And I had so much fun in that game because it's fun not always having the ball. You know, everyone plays Madden, and Sega Genesis football and hockey. We always had the puck. We always had the ball. And it was fun not having the ball. It was fun, and even in some of the hockey games on the 360 I used to play, I would set it up so I would play one guy on the ice, and I wouldn't always have the puck, and it felt like real hockey because you would get it and pass it, and you'd have to play without the puck, and that was so fun. I really enjoyed that. In fact, you got tired, and you would come to the bench and sit. I think it was NHL 14, and you sat and you could watch from the bench, and you saw your meter go up, and as soon as your meter got up to a point where you were back in the green, you hit a button and you changed up again. And of course, it wasn't real time, but it had the sense of being on a real hockey team as a player. And I had so much fun playing that. I really did. That was a blast doing it that way. But I did enjoy the college one as well. Turbo, what do you got here? Remember leaderboard golf for the Commodore? There's some really fun golf games that you and your brother played on the Amiga back in the 80s. Yeah, I didn't have the Amiga. I just had the Commodore. What else did I have? Oh, I had the Intellivision, but that was very different. The Intellivision was fun, but all the games were single player. You had to have somebody else to play with you. And that kind of sucked. Cheesy Poof stopping by. And you remember Zaxxon with a tape player to get it to run. When I was in, hang on. When I was in freshman year in high school, they had a computer room, and it was all tapes. And there's this game called Miser. It was a word game, and you had to go into the house, and the door closes behind you, and you got to try to escape out of this house. It's all a word game, and it was all on tape. So you load it on the tape, and then as we get into some of the computer stuff, there again, this is 1981 or 82, and so you could go into the code and manipulate the code. And I thought it was so cool. Like I went in and it says in front of you is a big carpet. And I went into the code and changed it to a big red carpet. And I thought that was the coolest thing. I was like, oh my gosh, this is great. I can learn how to code computers and stuff, And then I did something and I screwed it up. And I'm like, ooh, I screwed up the game. Luckily, I didn't save it on the tape. So I just ejected the tape so I didn't wreck it. But I did use tapes back in the day as Bruce shows up. Bruce, I got one of my new baseball things I'm going to be doing here on the channel. It's going to be with the Worcester Ruby Reds, or the Ruby Stockings. Have you ever heard of them? The Worcester baseball team from 1882. I'm going to be playing some 1882 baseball. I think it was the Worcester Ruby Stockings. I think it was. Dominic stops by as well. Good to see you, Dominic. Yeah. I've been really enjoying the 1899 baseball, and 1882 there was a team, or 1883. Time to take it. Go Avalanche. Oh, you're rooting for the Avs, huh? Oh, that's interesting. Let me call it up right now before I screw it up here. So I'm going to my Stratomatic baseball here. So it's 1882, and it is the Worcester. Oh boy. Worcester, hang on a sec. Worcester Ruby Legs. The Worcester Ruby Legs. They were 18-66. They were a terrible team, but they were in Worcester, and they played teams like Providence and Troy, Boston and Buffalo. They were in the National League actually in 1882. So I would be playing some Worcester Ruby Legs baseball on the channel. So, and yes, this is going to be a long story. Where's Ron when I need him? Did I talk to Ron? I think I talked to Ron first thing this morning. I woke up, I was headed into the shower, and he calls me on Facebook. So I got my phone here. I'm not quite dressed. So I'm having to hide the camera from him while I'm talking to him. That was too funny. Let's see here. Where do we leave off? Midlife crisis. Comes with the game's input option. It has shortcuts for strat. What's this? Well, okay, what do it comes with the game? Oh, okay. So it has shortcuts like Strat. Okay, that Digital Diamond Mine. So we're talking about Digital Diamond Mine inputting the stuff. Yeah, no, I like games like that. I haven't tried the Strat one yet. I still like the Replay PC Baseball, but they don't have all the seasons I want. But what's really good about the Replay PC Baseball is that you have the cards on the field and the visual, so it's a good streaming device. And I got really quick at inputting the results into there. I haven't done it with Strat yet. I want to at some point, but it's so tempting when you play Strat just to let Strat do it all because I do like the Strat baseball. The Replay PC Baseball is okay. But like I said, I've played the APA baseball and the pocket pennant run, and then I've used Replay baseball to keep score. So right now, that's what I'm doing. But I do pick up seasons once in a while on Strat so I can do the inputting. I just haven't tried it yet. Let's see over here. What did we leave off? Green now. Ed Ringler Ice Hockey. I remember checking guys and them spinning. That I don't remember. Was that the ice hockey game that I was doing there? The Mindscape hockey, yes, played that way back in the day. The best hockey in those days was Wayne Gretzky hockey. I don't think I like that one. The Mindscape one was funny because you could trip a guy right off the face-off, and it was one of these games where it was so scripted because I remember I was trailing like 3 goals in the third period, like 30 seconds left. So they dropped the puck. I tripped the guy. I shoot it from center ice, and you can shoot high or low back, and you could choose which one you want to shoot. If I shoot high, the goalie went down and went in over his head. If I shoot low, he stood up and it went in. So you could get 3 goals in 30 seconds to tie it up. But when the computer wanted to score, it scored because you had, I think it was a fast clock. So you had 30 seconds to get it out, to get it to center ice. It's just kind of how the rules of the game were. And so the computer kept chasing me and I couldn't get it. And I'm going behind the net. And no matter where I went, the computer was right there. So you knew they were going to score. So I would get called for a penalty because I didn't get it to center ice and then go on the power play and score. So when they wanted to score, they scored. But it still was a very fun game. So many hours into that until Sega Genesis hockey come out in 1991. And then that was it. No, 91, 92. Once I got that, there was no turning back. It really wasn't. And Rupert stopping by. Have I ever tried Dead Ball Baseball with Dice by W.N. Akers? It seems like a fun, quick baseball game for the table. No, I haven't. But I'm going to write that down. So it's called Dead Ball Baseball. Dead Ball Baseball. And it's with dice. And it's by W.M. Akers. I just wrote that down. And I will check that one out when I get done. Akers. Okay. And so I will check that out because I love checking out new games. I really do. And the Replay Gamer coming by. What were you playing the other day? I was watching you play some golf. You did an unboxing for a mat. And I'm trying to think if there's anything else that you've played that I've missed in the last couple of days. I haven't seen any Strat hockey back on the table. But I did pick up during the Strat PC sale, I picked up 78, 79 WHA so I can play some Stingers games. Yep. I know you're a Stingers fan, so I was going to play some Stingers games. And you said you're playing a lot of golf. Okay, that's what I figured. Yes, NHL 92 Genesis. I have them all up there. I don't know if I can show it. You can't see it. But I did a video, actually. If you check my channel, on all the Sega Genesis hockey games. And I think there was 20 of them. And you wouldn't think that there was 20, but there was actually almost 20 hockey games for the Genesis. It was crazy. There was a Wayne Gretzky, a Brett Hull, a Mario Lemieux, you name it. ESPN had one. Tecmo had one. Everyone had a hockey game in the mid-90s for that system. It was really great because they all did different things. Some were horrible, not going to lie. But as good as the NHL series was, some of these other games were kind of fun because they just did different things. I really like that. Glenn's coming by here today. Dead Ball Baseball by W.M. Akers. We were just talking about that. He has a version 2 coming out soon. Ooh, just in case I was thinking of picking up. Ooh, that's kind of good. So I might have to check this out to see what it's all about. Turbo, I missed this one here. I had the last version EA Sports made for PC in 1999, which meant Tom Brady at Michigan. Ooh, that would be neat. Someone sent me a picture one time, like a little screenshot. and it was 2001. It was it Madden? No, it was it was NFL Game Day 2001 or Madden 2001 or the PS2. I got it behind me over here, my PS2 games. It was one of them, and Brady was on the Patriots, and it just said quarterback 12 on it. It didn't even have his name. It's a quarterback 12. But I remember playing 989 Sports. What was their football game? 989 Sports. I love that game. Oh boy. Well, NFL 2K. Sorry, I'm looking behind me here. NFL 2K was really good, but 989 put out some sports games, some football games that were fantastic, and I forget the name of them now. But ESPN NHL 2K, that 2K5 was probably the best football and the best hockey game. And I'm trying to think. 989 did some stuff, and I don't remember what kind of what it was called, but it was it was a really fun game. And then Brady was on the Patriots back then, so it must have been 03 or 04, something like that. Mike's watching in VR. Holy cow! I cannot picture watching me in VR. Should I spin around? Does that help? Does this help? Mike, I tried the VR. And I lasted 5 seconds, and I couldn't do it. I just the only VR I can do was I was at a buddy's house, and I think he had it on the PlayStation. And as long as you were sitting still, you were fine. Like if I was in a room and I was looking around like this, I'm okay. But anytime there was any movement, I lost my mind. I remember going to PAX East, a video game thing, and we get in on the press hour. So we walked in, and we were the first people there. And I went right into the VR. So I'm going to try the VR. And it was a game that you're in a mech, okay? And the idea is to get in the mech and to go and shoot other people. So they put the VR thing on me, and like if you have a problem, raise your hand, and we'll come right over, right? So I sit down, I got the VR thing on. And it was kind of neat. I'm in the hangar. And I'm looking around, I'm watching the people walk around, and people check clipboards, and it was really cool. I'm like, oh, this is great. And all of a sudden I went up, it started to go up. And as soon as it started to rise me up, now I lost all awareness of where I was. And I was just sitting in a chair. And as I go, and so I tried to move forward to the VR, and I just put my hand up. I lasted 2 seconds. The guy come over, I said, get these off of me. I says, I can't do this. I'm out of my mind. So the VR was, for me, not good. Belial keeps telling me to go over and check out the hockey game he's got that's on VR, but I'm telling I can't do the VR. He's swearing it's awesome, and maybe it is, but that's a little bit beyond me. Ron, thanks for coming by. Ron McGrath says hello to everybody here. So just kind of chatting before the hockey game tonight. But yeah, the VR stuff, Mike. Yeah, I need to get my VR legs. I'm an old man, Mikey. Yeah, just some things. I still listen to hockey games on the radio. that's where I am with this stuff here. You know, I don't have newspapers anymore, so I'm not that old. But yeah, the VR stuff is really different. Hockey fan 76. Good to see. What have you been playing, man? By the way, what's been on your table or your computer lately? Because I know you've been doing some really cool things. I'm interested in that. And midlife, what do you got going over here? Speaking of cards and dice hockey, I found in the past when using the suggested PP and PK lines in rotation to bog the game down. I don't think you do that when I stream. No, what I do, my new way of playing the hockey games now, for better or for worse, is I have my little cards that I flip, and every 2 minutes I flip and I get a new line from 1 to 4. Obviously, line 1 gets the bulk of the shifts, followed by line 2, by line 3, and line 4 gets 1 2-minute shift a period. So they play 6 minutes a game. That's how I do it. And the way I see it is, if a power play comes up, or a penalty kill comes up, and line 1, 2, or 3 are out there, they play the power play, the penalty kill, because in my storyline that I'm generating, line 1 and line 2, they've already played a lot. So that's why line 3 is out there, because you don't want a tired line 1 or line 2 out on a power play, or especially killing a power play, killing a penalty. So I go with that. Line 4, again, there's three defensive lines and then 4 forward lines. Line 4 is not allowed on the power play. So that's the only change that I make. So if I'm on a power play and I flip and line 4 comes up, line 4, I I put that away, and they'll come out later in the period. So line 4 does not play the power play, but line 3 can. And I've scored power play goals with line 3, and that just adds to the storyline. So for me, I like to use my rotating line system. And it just if a line comes up 2 times in a row, then 2 times in a row. I've had games where line 1 played a bulk of the period, and I knew later on in the period they're quote tired now. So lines 2, 3, and 4 are going to play the bulk of the other half of the period. So, if I got my top Bruins line out, let's just say I got Oates, Juneau, and Steve Leach, let's say, because that's my 92 season I'm playing. If they get a bulk of the shifts early in the period, they better be scoring some goals because they're going to be, quote, tired now, and they're not going to play as much in the second half of the period because I've exhausted all my line 1 cards. I'm enjoying that. I'm enjoying the heck out of that. At the end of the period, all the minutes work out, but I will do that on the power play. Even the penalty kill. Line 3 can kill a penalty. I got no problem. Line 4 can kill a penalty. And that's not a bad thing because the line 4 guys are usually the goons. They get a lot of penalties. So if I can put them out there on the penalty kill, get their 2-minute shift out of the way and get them off, that works out for me. So I kind of like that. So that's the system that I use. Let's see, where are we over here? Glenn's back, and I tried to fly a TIE fighter in space and VR, made you very dizzy. Yeah, I would love to do that because I played the TIE fighter game. And I like that better than X-Wing. I had both back in the day. But that might have been a Commodore game too. Oh, was that no, that was a Windows 95 game, I think. But I have the X-Wing games. In fact, I rebought them on, was it Good Old Games? I think I bought them on. I think I might even have them on Steam too. They were really fun. I really liked those games there. And they would be fun in VR, but holy cow, yeah, all that movement and stuff, forget it. No, I'd be sick as a dog. I really am. I get motion sickness really bad. In fact, I was over somebody's house watching them play Call of Duty, and I went and I puked in the bathroom just of the motion sickness. So I'm really motions. It's a real thing with me. But yeah, that would be really fun. So you're playing, the 9091 Strat PC Hockey, 7980, some Strat 92 Cards and Dice Football. Oh, in the Crease 9091. Yeah, that's one season I'm hoping that Hockey Bones comes out with is 9091. That would be a fun one to play. It really is. And 7980, that's another good one too. I think I got that for Hockey Bones too. 3 products is your max. Not for me. I got a million. I just do. I like to play different games. In fact, that's one of the things we'll talk about is like, why do we play what we play and why do we do it? And I don't like to get stuck on one thing. My thing is that, if I want to bang, like I'm doing the 1980 World Series for Strat, I'm having a blast with it. And I know it's only going to be like a week project because I'm probably playing a game a day. And if it goes only 4 or 5 games, I'll be done fast. But I would hate to not play that because I need to finish the project over here, And some of my products are pretty long-term stuff. So I'm just chipping away at it. And every now, like even right here, this little notebook I got right here. This is, you can see Gretzky. I'm playing the Gretzky 85-86 season, and I'm just playing the North Stars, the Oilers games. And what it is you roll the dice to see who wins the game and how many goals, and then you roll the dice to see who get the goals and the assists. So I'm rolling the dice, getting the final score of the game, and then I roll the dice to see how many goals and assists Gretzky got in that. So this is my Gretzky replay. And it's supposed to be one of his really good seasons. So I'm interested to see what this game does, which is Ultra Quick Hockey by Downey. And to see how the Oilers do, and then to see how Gretzky does. And every now and then I pull it out and I play a couple games. And it's going to be a long season. It was 82 games or whatever it is, or 80 games. And I just play here and I play there. I'm in no hurry for that one there. My 92, 93 Hockey Bones, that takes me a while to play. Hockey Bones takes me, a couple hours to play. So I play period in the morning, period at night, period after work, and I'm done a game there. I slipped in some APA hockey the other day. As you saw, I did slip in when I got my new seasons in. I did 76. I did slip in a Cleveland Barons game or two. I think I played was it Cleveland Toronto and then Cleveland Colorado just for fun. So when I get new seasons in, I got to play a couple games. So that's why I bounce around from product to product to product. You like the line change with the home? I try it out. I mean, it's not perfect in a game like APA. it kind of sucks in a game like Appa because Appa gets going and then you got to stop and change lines. And I was doing every 4 minutes with Appa, and it worked out fine. So now I'm doing every 2 minutes. But here's what I'm doing in Appa. In fact, I got to make a new Appa video and talk about this. Is when I change lines at the 2 minute mark, okay, I do it like the hockey bones line change. So I change I flip the cards for the forwards and the defensive lines, and I flip over who's ever supposed to be out there, except the guy with the puck. The guy with the puck gets to complete his play, and then he goes to the bench, and I finish the change. So on the 2 minute change, I do it that way in Appa. At the 4 minute mark in Appa, that's when I do the dump and change. So if a team's got the puck, they do the dump and change, and then the other team has to flip it back, and that's how they change the line. So that way there I have a potential for a corner battle and then a scoring chance. But I found that doing that every 2 minutes was a ridiculous amount of time. I don't want to say wasted, but it was a lot of extra time. So what I do now with Appa, like I say, so at 4 minutes, 8, 12, and 16. So 4, 8, 12, 6. So 4 times a period, I do that. And then the other 2 minute intervals is just a standard line change. And that's been a nice balance between realism and time and just a lot of wasted time, so to speak. Because the dump and changes, they're fun, but they do take some time. And I know like ID doesn't like that. He's like, oh, it's such a waste of time. I like it because it's a hockey play, but I don't need it every 2 minutes. So I go every 4 minutes if I can do that. So that's how I do it. But that line change system, I needed a line change system because I would just play 1 versus 1, 2 versus 2. Boring, but it was easy. I didn't have to think about it, Now, whereas I have these cards, and I flip over, okay, line 1 comes out. Oh, line 1 comes out again. Now it's line 3. Now line 4. Back to line 1. Now line 2. And that makes it really fun for me because in my mind, I don't have to make any decisions, and the coach is sending out the line. So maybe he sees a particular matchup against the next team. Maybe he wants to get his bottom lines, out of the way early in the period and save his top line, or vice versa. So it just creates some. I get the 1-3 matchups. I get the 2-3 matchups, which I wasn't getting before. So this line change system works like a charm. And I'm not saying it's something I invented by any means, but it's just. It gives me variety, and it keeps the numbers in line. So in other words, line 1 plays the most, and they will play the most at the end of the period. Line 2 plays the second most, followed by line 3 and then line 4. And it's all baked into this little pie here, so to speak. Pie. No, I'm hungry. So that I just love how that works out. And again, I forget how I come up with that. I saw someone else come up with something simple, and I was like, that guy's close, but I think flipping cards is the way to go. And so try that out. Let me know if it works out. Some people like it, some people don't. There's no right way, there's no wrong way, but I think for me, it works out pretty well. You remember when Pong came out? I remember when we moved into our house in 1978, right before the blizzard. We had a big blizzard here, blizzard 78. And the neighbors next door, they were pretty well off. He had a construction company, and they were pretty well off. And down in their basement, they had a Pong game. And this is before like anything come out. And I don't even know if these things were in I don't know if there was no such thing as an arcade. Like I say, Pong was the thing. And I was like, holy cow, we can play Pong over here. And it was a big stand-up console unit there, and they had Pong. And I thought that was the coolest thing. But yeah, I remember playing Pong as well. And we couldn't play enough. Then I got the Sears Telegame, which was Pong, but it was hockey. It was called hockey. You had nets now. And we played the crap out of that. And we kept stats in the whole bit. That was the thing to do in 1979, 1980. That's all there was, really, And let's see, midlife. You don't prefer first-person shooters because it makes you feel disoriented. You can't imagine VR. Yeah, midlife. I was a big Ghost Recon fan back in the day with the original Xbox, and that was first person. So I started on first person. And I loved first person. Now when I play first person, I'm the same way. I get motion sickness in first person games. Third person games, no problem. And there's a couple games like Skyrim, and I think even The Witcher, you can switch in and out, which is great because sometimes you want to fight in first person, but in third person you want to walk around. But yeah, it's weird how you just change. And for years, first person was my choice. and I couldn't play third person, and now I can only play third person. The only thing I don't like though is when the character is way over here. You ever play those games and the character's way off to one side, and you can't see what's on this side of them? You can see everything over here, and that's great. But on this side, especially like when they're way over here, and you're trying to play, it's like I'm trying to spin around to see what's on the side over here. So they got to be centered. They got to be centered in the middle and a little forward, and then that's the perfect game for me. If they're way off to the side, and I get that you're trying to see what the gun's shooting, but you can't see anything over here. It's so off balance. My OCD goes nuts. I can't take that. And Hawkins, you're doing Phil Esposito and Shootout. What season are you doing? Because I started the 70-71, and I'm playing every single game in Shootout. And I got through October, and I haven't been back to the project in got to be over a year now. I just had a hard time inputting the stats. Now, though, as I've matured as a gamer, I find that I can play the longer projects, and I'm looking forward to inputting the stats, like this Hockey Bones thing I'm doing, the 92-93 Bruins. I'm really looking forward to putting in the stats for that. I think maybe now I'm ready to go back to that Shootout and play that and enjoy the stats part of it. Whereas before I was trying to get through it in a hurry. Now I think I can slow down. So I think I might go back to that. But I'm interested to know what season you're playing with Esposito, because I took 70-71, which is the season they didn't win the cup, but it was a really good offensive year for Boston. And I think Esposito and Orr were 1-2 or 1-3, maybe it was. Midlife says, you never like the dump and change because often teams will change on the fly. Well, that's the idea with the dump and change with Appa. That's why I like it, is because you have the puck, you're getting tired, so you flip it into the corner. So you roll the dice to see what happens. It's not always a corner battle. Sometimes it just goes to the other team. But that allows you to make the change. So you got to get rid of the puck so everybody can change. And then the other team gets it, and they have to do the same thing. Okay, so it's not like you can just dump it and the other team can keep it. So it's like you have the puck, you need to get rid of it, and then you can potentially get it back, and then the line change gets completed. I like it because it does lead to some drama in the corner. So if you roll, and you can even ice it too. So you maybe you just ice it to get the line change because you're tired. Again, it just plays into the storyline of the game. And so I like it because I'll dump it into the corner. And if you got a guy like Ray Bork or Larry Robinson, you don't even bother checking because they're going to have such a high defensive number that the other guy can't win it. So you don't even, so if it goes to Ray Bork or Larry Robinson or one of those guys there, like, don't even check. Just he gets the puck and then he does his line change. It really is. So, but I do like that aspect of the game because it's part of hockey. And I know, like, it's some other games, that you just change. It's great line change. Everybody just changes. Yeah, I get it that you're playing a 24 or 30 or 40-second segment of the game and that you can't just take it play by play. So at some point they made the line change. I get that, but I think having to dump it just gives it a little bit more realism. That's just me. Jim, what do you got going on here, Jim? You like to play players realistically. Your system handles that by giving line one more shifts to 4. Yeah, line one will play, I think, what, four shifts? Line 4 only plays 1, and then 2 plays 3, and 3 plays 2. So it's 4, 3, 2, 1, I think it is. Something like that. And that gives me my 10 line changes for the period. That works out well. The only time, once in a while late in the game, I'll force line 1 to go out there. But okay, executive decision, line 1's going out even if they're tired, just to make it fun. But yeah. And Jim says he does line changes no more than 4 minutes. I've been doing the 2 minutes, Jim. It's time consuming. It's kind of a pain, but when you do the line change every 2 minutes, you have the chance for different matchups, and that's what I like. So I got, what do I got? 10 line changes a period, so I can have different combinations against. So I can have line 1 offense and line 3 defense over here against, say, line 2 defense and line 2 offense over here. So you always have different matchups. I used to play just 1 versus 1 and 2 versus 2, and it wasn't much variety there. And this way here, you can, and it's fun when you get line 3 against line 1 and line 3 gets a scoring chance and they score. And it's totally unexpected to have the third line score against their best line. again, it just creates storylines. JT stopping by. Hello, good to see you here. Just kind of chatting tonight before the game. Actually, the game's probably already started here, but I'm just going to be listening tonight. I'm going to go over. I'm going to play my hockey bones, and I'm going to have the game on the radio and listen to that. And maybe when it gets to a cup clinching game, I'll turn it on. Overtime, I like to watch, And Bradford says he gets motion sickness in first player games. Yeah. There was one I really enjoyed, and I went back. I started playing. It was on the PS4. Horizon Zero Dawn. In fact, they just come out with a new one. So I went back to the first one. Says I want to play the first one again because I enjoyed it and I liked the story. I really did. It was like very Planet of the Apes, with the future of what happened to mankind, and you see the buildings in the distance and the ruins. And it was a very interesting story. So I'm gonna go back and play that again, and then, excuse me, when I get wrapped up, I'll pick up the second one. It should be on sale at that point there. And it was a first-person game, and I could only play, like I say, maybe 5, 10, 15 minutes, and I would have to take a break because I just couldn't. Yeah, I have a hard time with it. So I can't do any VR at all. And X's and O football with the rollerball. Oh my gosh, I love that game. You guys have played for hours. Yeah, I remember that. We went. I forget we were. I think it was in New Hampshire somewhere, and I was up there with my grandparents. And I remember my grandfather, let's play this football game, the X's and O game. And I hit the bomb. And I threw the bomb, and I'm going, touchdown. He looks at it and goes, what the hell am I supposed to be doing here? He was all upset. It's just like, I don't know, but I scored a touchdown. And that was fun. Yeah. You call the play out, and you roll the ball, and you pass it, and and it's like, oh, man. And then you kept getting your hand caught in the plastic there where the ball hit. You kept scraping your hand on the ball. But that X's and O's arcade game with the rollerball, yes, that was a good time. I do remember that one there. That's something I wish, I think you could play that single player too. That's stuff that I'd like to get for the house, like a little tabletop version, you know what I mean? And play that down here. That would be kind of fun. And Pong, Christmas Day 76. Yeah, now we don't know how old you are. We got, I think it was Christmas of 77. We got the Sears Telegame. That's what I think it was. We got the Sears Telegame, which had the Pong and the hockey. And I remember it was a little unit. It was about this big, and the speaker was in the middle. And we used to have to put a towel over the speaker because it didn't go through the TV, only the video went through the TV. And like we would play early in the morning, but it made so much noise that we had to cover it with a towel so you couldn't hear it, so we could play. And I even had a racing game. I was like, and it got really loud. So I remember putting towels over it to muffle the sound so we could play early in the morning or late at night or whatever it was. And if I liked one, I'll love two. Good. Yeah, I can't wait to play two. I really liked one a lot. I didn't think I would, but I did like one. So one was fun. So I'm kind of hoping to play two. But anyway, well, I just want to jump on here tonight and say hi to some folks here. I think the game's going to be starting shortly, and I'm going to go over here and play my game. But I want to come on and say hi and have a little chat tonight here. I thought about playing some Spiders baseball, but I thought I'd come on and say hi and chat instead. So I got Spiders baseball coming up later this week. I got game 3 of the 1980 World Series. Phillies lead it 2-0, 2 one-run games. Those have been really, really fun games on the channel. And that is that. So we'll wrap it up here. X's and O's completing a bomb with the animation of the ball flying down the field and being caught. I think that's why I like Action P football so much. Action PC football. Yeah, it is very X's and O's type. Now that I think about it, you're right. It is very X's and O's, very similar to that game. It really was. And Turbo had the Sears Telegame. Yep. I was in a restaurant, I don't know, 5 or 10 years ago. And on the wall, they had all this memorabilia like stapled up on the wall, and they had a Sears Telegame up there. And I was like, holy cow, I had that in 1977. And here it is in some restaurant or sports bar, like nailed to the wall with like I think it was old Nintendo and stuff like that. But it was still kind of neat. It was kind of neat. And Glenn says he enjoys the games both on the radio and your desktop. Yep. Yeah, I like to have on the radio because I can go over and play some Bones or some APRA or even Strat Baseball. You know, if I'm not streaming, I can just listen to the game. I like to listen to the game and just not have to worry about watching it, and it doesn't take up all my attention. If something good really happens, then I go put on the TV and I watch the replay. That's kind of how I do it. So, all right, Steeler fan, thanks for coming by. We got, like I say, we got the Ruby Red Legs. Is that what it is? The Ruby Red Legs from Worcester coming up. So we're gonna have to need a new sponsor here. So hopefully Steeler fan Buggy Whips is gonna be sponsoring the 1882 season once I wrap up the Spiders. Thanks for coming by, Turbo. And yeah, if you could do that, I never asked for that, but if you could, that would be great. And we'll wrap it up here. And again, hopefully recording new Digital to Dice tomorrow. So if you and again, go check out Around the Layout podcast. My buddy Ray does a model railroading podcast, very similar to Digital to Dice, but it talks about model railroading. So if you're into that stuff, go check that out. I just got my new shirt in today. So so be looking for some new Digital to Dice maybe tomorrow afternoon, tomorrow night, if all goes well. Depends how the little guy's doing and those allergies. You know, he keeps canceling baseball games because of allergies. Talk to you later. Bye-bye.